Hi, my name is John. I'm 22 years old and I am an openly gay man. I wanted to make an It Gets Better video for pretty much since the project's been out. But I always kind of figured I didn't have a story to tell. My story isn't a lot of hardship, it's not a lot of things I had to overcome, but it's still my story. And I've kind of realized recently that even though my story isn't a hard one, it still might help someone. So, my story starts from the beginning of when I can remember. I've always known I was different. Not quite like the other guys, not quite the same. Something just wasn't right, and I couldn't tell what it was. I didn't really figure it out until I was 13, when my classmates became interested in the female anatomy, and I did not. Quite the opposite, actually. And that was when I really realized that I didn't know the word for it, but I knew that I was going to be attracted to men. That I was attracted to men. So I didn't tell anybody until I was 16. So for 3 years I had this internal conflict raging within me of, you're worthless, you're not worth the breath that you're wasting, you're not made right, there's something wrong with you. And that was when I first started thinking about suicide, was when I was like 14. And at that point, it was, when I was thinking about it, it was like a last ditch thing. If things got really bad, I'd do that. And you know what's bad when you start thinking about it is like a exit strategy. So, I didn't tell anybody until I was 16. And at that point I told my two best friends in high school. And I went to school 12 hours later, thanks to good old high school wireless. And everybody knew. So when I walked into the school, I was kind of bombarded with questions of, is it true? So in the split second I had to make this decision, I decided that I was going to just admit it. My options were lie, continue to lie about it, and hope that nobody finds out the real truth, or admit it and see what happens. I obviously chose to admit it. And what happened after that, the first year was rough. It was a lot of names, a lot of dirty looks, a lot of side comments. In all honesty, in the long run, it was a lot of little stuff that didn't matter, but at the time, it was horrible. I remember thinking that year of high school that it took a lot of effort every single morning to get myself out of bed to go to school, because I was so depressed. I hated who I was. I hated myself. I hated that I was gay. I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to be around anymore. I didn't want to hear it anymore. I just wanted it to be done. So I graduated high school a year early. And went to college, where I met a lot of new people who didn't care that I was gay. It wasn't a big deal to them. It was what it was. Or it is what it was. You know what I mean. It didn't matter to them. And that's where I first started to feel more comfortable and kind of lose that depression. I didn't want to kill myself anymore. I still had that internal conflict because I wanted to change, but I wasn't upset about it. I wasn't angry about it inside anymore, and that was good. So then I moved home um, after college. Or I stopped going to college about 2 years in. Then moved home. Decided I should probably try something different with my life. Because college just didn't work for me too well at that point. So I moved home and I kind of got into a new field and somehow ended up working on ambulances. Got into EMS. And the ambulance service isn't exactly someplace that's a mecca of gay men. There aren't a lot of us. But having said that, the ambulance services I work on, I have made some of my closest friends on who don't care who I sleep with. They don't care who I'm attracted to. And the most shocking part of all of this came when I started paramedic school and started riding with a paramedic that worked at a fire station for my clinical time. And me being angry little gay boy was so nervous about what it was going to be like to ride at a fire station because I was so petrified that fire guys don't want to hang out with a gay guy all day. They don't want me there all day. I am happy to say that I was wrong. In the last year, I've learned that not only are they the best group of guys I think I've ever met, but it's also taught me that the fact that I'm gay does not define what I can and cannot do. My life has gotten so much better because I'm okay with who I am now. I like who I am now. I don't want to change anymore. And if you're sitting there in your chair, on your couch, in your room, watching this, and you're a teenager, or you're a 30-year-old, 40-year-old contemplating coming out, it gets better. It gets so much better because it's like a weight's off your shoulders. I mean, if you're sitting there thinking you're worthless and you don't deserve to live, or if you've even gotten to the point where you're contemplating suicide, find someone, talk to someone. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You will eventually find people. If you don't have them now, you will eventually find people who do not care that you're gay, or a lesbian, or bisexual, or transgender. You'll find people that don't care. It's not what defines you. Know that there are people that love you somewhere. Know that there are people that you can reach out to. You've got the internet. You've got hundreds of thousands of people on here. Hell, find me. Message me if you're that upset. It's fine. I will talk to you all night long if I have to. Because it gets so much better and you need to be here to see it through. And see that it gets that much better. So know that you're loved. And don't give up yet. You have no idea what's in store.